the biggest pet peeves as an NFL fan. So like our most frustrating things being an NFL fan, either with the NFL, with teams, with players, with the fans. What frustrates us about being an NFL fan, essentially. And so we go back and forth, just like we're out on the schoolyard. You're gonna start first. And so you got the first pick in the schoolyard pick.
I get the first.
I'll go,
and that's big. And for something like this, that's big because there are a lot of things to take. There are a lot of things to take. Where your biggest pet peeve? I am going to go with, and I'm taking this because I don't think you're going to take it. I mean, no, because I think you might take it. I'm going to go with prevent defense. I got to go with prevent defense. Every time, my dad was saying it too, and he hasn't been watching football that much until recently. Prevent defense. You put it out. It's the prevent winning defense. You run this. It's sure. If there's 15 seconds left, I mean, even though I say that, that's why the Bills lost in the AFC the divisional round.
Yeah.
But still, I can understand in that situation. Maybe you hope you put everyone back. It's only a Hail Mary. Of course, you play prevent defense, right? Of course, sure. But in some of these things where like, okay, there's like the Bills have a minute left, about a minute, 50 something seconds left, 40 seconds left. That's a lot of time, especially for a team that can march down the field. Why would you let them get 8 yards for free every play? They just let the tight end get out. He goes out 8 yards, catches it, instantly steps out of bounds, and you're not even defending it. You're not even defending it. It's that. I mean, you just give up so much. And when it's cases of field goal, when it's a field goal differential, playing again with touchdown differential, if you want to play that until you get to a bend don't break, like, and then when you get to the red zone, toughen up. Maybe I still don't like it. I still feel like you're just giving up field position for the hope of not giving up the big play. Just play, just like if you want, play up. 3 deep safeties. Yeah. Play trap. If you're that worried, play 3 deep safeties. Whether it's a cover 3 or whether you just like only rush, you just do a 3-man rush. But play man coverage. So these guys don't get 8-10 yards for free every play.
If in the most important time of the game, you switch to prevent because that's the answer. Why weren't you playing prevent before?
Yes.
Why not? Because it's not. It's basically you hedging. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Excellent.
That's my number 1 pick.
I didn't even have it on my list, even though we talked about it yesterday.
I
missed it, but
ooh.
I'm gonna go with actually on a interaction by interaction basis. My biggest pet peeve has to be bandwagon fans. Okay. Now I'm not talking about like, I kind of follow football and the Bills are good all of a sudden and or the Chiefs are good or hey, I really like Lamar Jackson. I really like Josh Allen. So I'm kind of rooting for. I'm not talking about. I'm talking about people who are football fans and who assume the fandom of the winning team and act like they've been with the wagon the whole time. You know what I mean? The people who are like, oh my God,
exactly what you mean.
I'm the biggest Bills fan. They are so good.
I've seen so many Bills fans out there now.
I mean, Cowboys suck. They're the worst team. When was the last time they even went to a championship? Yes, they do suck. But I've been with them my entire life.
You've been with them.
All right. Like I've been riding that train.
You're ride or die.
Right?
Yeah.
You just got out. You used to be a Cowboys fan. Now you root for Buffalo. When we grew up, you were a Cowboys fan. And I love you to death.
Then you were a Patriots fan until 2018. And then you became a Chiefs fan for a year or two. Now you're a Bills fan.
Right.
Yeah.
And listen.
I know what you mean.
I mean no ill will.
Listen.
But it's just like, come on, like you jumped on, right? I mean,
if you're gonna jump on, exactly. You got to be conscious of it. If you're gonna jump on, like you got to have that level of humility, and you got to say to yourself, like, I can't, if you're one of those dudes up in Buffalo jumping through tables, I do not say that in a bad way. I mean no negative connotations to that.
Right.
But like if you're one of those dudes, then you're ride or die Bills. You've been with the Bills since they lost 4 Super Bowls in a row.
Right.
You're like you're with it. But if you're like a
different.
new Bills fan, like I've been following them a bit more in the past couple of years. Just can't like I mean, just whatever, they've been a good team. I'm from the Northeast. The Patriots always play them, so I see them more. Like I often get their games more often, so I've been following them a bit more. But I would never try to go out there and say I'm a Bills fan, but like more importantly, like act with any sort of bravado. I don't know the word. Exactly. I'd have my humility. Even if I were to shift more to that and enough to call myself a fan, I wouldn't. Definitely not. But even if I were, I would keep that humility. Right.
Right.
But yeah. Yeah. I mean, other than that, so I guess it's my pick now. Ooh.
Oh yeah.
Well, you're going to give me a freebie. I have two that I want to talk about more. So I'm going to skip the freebie. The freebie, can I say the freebie? I guess I shouldn't give you it, but
no, I have a freebie too that I think we both passed up on. So, but you go ahead. Yeah. Whatever you're going to do.
I'm going to skip it because I think it's more interesting. Kickoffs. Don't like kickoffs. Kickoffs. We talked about this so much last year when we were living together, right? I mean, it's every no matter what happens, almost anything that happens, there's injuries happen, tons of injuries on kickoffs. So often you see, it's often not the star players, it's some special teams player, but still injuries on the play. Or you go holding 10-yard penalty from the spot of the kick, first down, or blocking the back. There's so many penalties on kickoffs. And even that aside, it happened, I think, in the Bills game. I think in the Bills-Vikings game. Teams will get the ball. No, it happened. It was because it was a good kick this time in the Bills game. That's what I was going to say. Teams will take it out for no reason. And teams will get it. They get it in the end zone. They could take the touchback. They could let it. I think you can let it bounce into the end zone and take the touchback. Don't do that. Instead, run it, get to the 20-yard line, potentially injure your players, potentially get a holding or blocking the back penalty, all to get 15 yards and be behind where you would have started normally, and burn time off the clock. The Bills kick, the kick, I think it was the Vikings kicker kicking it to the Bills. And that was a pretty good kick because it pinned it, it was on the 5-yard line or something. So that's different. That was just a good kick. It forced them to take it out, and good special teams play. But generally, kickoffs, people take them out too often. I think, yes, you have the potential to get up to the 40, but you also burn time. And you also risk so many penalties that I feel like the receiving team gets more of on kickoffs. And it just that's pretty much it. The biggest thing for me is when I see a team take it out when they have the chance to not take it out and then get less than 25 yards. And then you've burned time, worse field position. The players are more tired. Any player who was involved in the kickoff. Yeah.
Injuries. So would you suggest the answer would be to get rid of the kickoff? Or I know the big point of frustration is that they take it out when they really shouldn't because they're given the 25.
Yeah.
But so would you just say let's give them the 25, no more kicking off?
I don't know. I think keep the kickoff because if a team wants it, I guess more what I think is I don't know, be more select. If you have an amazing kick returner, I feel like a lot of what I've seen of Duvernay, I don't know if he returns kickoffs or just punts or whatever, but I know Duvernay on the Ravens returns pretty well. I think Cordell Patterson on the Falcons. If you have a good kickoff return guy, then I think that I like it from a strategy standpoint. I think you're saying all I think is teams should just be more, more select, be more willing to take take it if it's if you have if you take it, there should be a reason. There should be a reason okay, we want this, we want to take it out. We want to take this kick out. We have a really good runner. We have maybe a unique blocking scheme. Maybe, you're a special teams coach. You've drawn up a unique return scheme. I don't know. I don't know, but I think I like the idea of having it there for strategy. I could see the interesting depth. Maybe I like that. I think if players are good at it, let them shine. But I think if you're an average Joe team with an average Joe kickoff returner, why, why take the risk? There's the potential big reward, but I'm sure if you do the averages, I don't think it's that good. That's all. I don't have a league position. I just have teams. Teams should just think about it more. It should be a team by team decision. But
hey, fair enough. Didn't mean to put you on the spot there.
I know. It's interesting. That's why I picked this one.
I'm going to take the lob here, and I am going to say up front, I don't know if there's a solution for this, but I'm just gonna say that one of the biggest pet peeves is inconsistent reffing. Okay, not
Yes.
bad reffing.
That was what I
inconsistent reffing. Because like the problem is that a lot of these calls are subjective, and people are going to make mistakes. You watch it on the field, you watch it in life every day. People are going to make mistakes. But when you're calling, for one half the game you're calling holding, and then the other half you're letting them play. One half the game you're calling PI super tight, and then by the end of the game you're just letting them play. Why? Just call it how it is. Like, if we're gonna call PI super tight, let's just do that across the game, across the league. Or if we're gonna say we're gonna play a little bit loose, that's fine. People are gonna say they have problems with roughing the passer or whatever it is. Like, all these rules, all the rules have a reason. They're in place for a reason. The problem is when, Tom Brady gets all the calls on roughing the passer and Josh Allen doesn't, or Lamar doesn't, right? Because they're running QBs, right? That's the problem, is the inconsistency. And I mean, to a certain extent, it's like, it makes it hard to watch the game. How often do we say to ourselves, what even is the rule? Because it's not consistent. We don't even know. We can't even tell what a catch is. Oh, well, if you're going out of bounds, you've got to maintain possession.
Or a touchback.
The ball can touch the ground on a catch as long as you maintain control of the ball. Well, does that mean that the ball can't move? I mean, can you have control while the ball moves, while it touches the ground? Like, it's just gotten out of hand. Let's make the rules consistent so that hey, if this happens, then it's a penalty or it's not. That's all.
Yeah. I think I said when I wrote down my picks, I just said refs in general, and I was gonna narrow that, maybe narrow it, but I think that's a great way to talk about it, or a great way to nail down to something specific. I have my last one here, and this is when a team trades their first round pick and then sucks. Right, so teams that have done this, the Eagles right now have the fourth. They right now, if they do the draft right now, they have the 4th overall pick in the draft and the 32nd, because they are undefeated. But they have the 4th overall pick in the draft because the Saints traded their first round pick to pick a receiver. Yes, the receivers look good, but traded their first overall pick to pick a receiver and then sucked. And they sucked enough to give the Eagles the 4th pick in the draft. The Seahawks have the 7th pick in the draft because Denver traded the house for Russell Wilson and then sucked. And it's just giving. It's like, if you're going to go all in, if you're going to do the Rams approach, the thing about the Rams approach is you trade all these picks, but then the pick isn't worth as much because it's the 32nd pick in the draft because you win the Super Bowl. Because the part of the philosophy of trading your picks to win games is so that you win games, right? Like, they do it, you trade them, and that's what makes it a good deal for you. Obviously, because you win, but also because like, your pick isn't worth as much. The better you do, the better the deal is for you, because then the pick is worth less and less.
Positive.
So to go out and make these, exactly. So to go out and make these big blockbuster trades only to then suck. It not only, like, it's both, yes, like, the solution has not improved in the short term, but it's also not going to help in the long term either. Because you've lost your first round pick, you've lost the one of the best ways to rebuild, and that's just
the problem with that one. Like you said, there is no hedging going on there. They are basically saying either we succeed or we fail big, right? That's it's you're all in at the poker table. Yeah,
and those are the Eagles. The Saints and the Denver are the two big ones. You could say it with the Browns too, but they knew that that's the whole Brown situation. But you knew Watson wouldn't be playing for most. You kind of knew your pick this year wouldn't be great. It wouldn't be bad. You knew it would be like an average pick probably, which it probably will be. I mean, we'll see. So it's kind of different for them. But even still, it's like it's got to feel bad when you trade a pick. And now if I open up my pick order really quick, it'll take me half a second. They have the 9th pick in the draft. Right now, the Texans have the 1st and the 9th pick in the draft. So obviously that'll change. They probably won't end with the 9th pick, but still, like, that's a high draft pick. It's a high draft pick. But yeah,
I'm gonna go with a little bit something specific and out there for my last one. One of my biggest pet peeves is analytics being a scapegoat for bad coaching decision making. Okay.
Mm.
So right now there seems to be there's like two factions in NFL coaching and in the media where it's like, hey, like we've brought in some young guys where we've hired some, you know, Ivy League economists and stats guys to be consultants, to answer some of our statistics and probability questions, to do some sabermetrics, some Moneyball type analysis and regressions. That's going to help us win games, and we're going to make decisions with that. And then you got the faction who's like, I don't even know how to add. Okay, and I ain't bringing in some young gun hot shot who doesn't know anything about football and is all numbers, because that ain't football. All right, so we ain't doing analytics. Okay, you got Jim Irsay complaining about analytics at the press conference, saying people get scared, they go to analytics. What? These coaches,
right.
They go up to the podium after they make a bad decision in a game, and they say, "What? Well, the analytics said that if we went for it here on 4th and got it, then we had a 98% chance." Listen, it's just a tool. It's just a tool. The models, the regressions, they can't build everything into them. That doesn't mean that they're not good and that they shouldn't be used, but they're just another tool that these coaches should be using. But when they go up to the press conference and they lose, they shouldn't say, "Oh, well, it was the analytics." They'll say, "Well, we looked at some of the analytics. I thought about it in the moment. We put that all together, and I made the wrong call." That's all it needs to be said, because it comes down to all these head coaching things. They're all just decision making, and some guys are better at it than others. Yeah. And to blame analytics, whoever's blaming analytics, whether it be this as the scapegoat or to say this is wrong, come on, guys.
Which is why you should have a head coach who isn't afraid. Which is why you should have a head coach who isn't afraid, who's been in these high pressure moments. Not some white collar, some white collar dude coming out there. Got to be in those high pressure moments. Calling the plays himself sometimes. Calling out stuff himself.
Once again, Raiders ownership, please. You heard it here. You can have both. You can have analytics as a tool, and Jack will be we don't want any analytics. We can have it all. We just hire us.
And we're not afraid. We're not afraid to tank for Stroud or a Young. We're not afraid to be tank commanders.
You want to be a tank?
We're not afraid,
Jack.
I want. That's my dream job.